Hi, it's the Honey Queen. It's fall, September, and you know what that means? It's peach season, one of my favorite seasons. And as you know, we did that taste test where we found out the best peaches are Diamond Princess, hands down. This is called Honey Crumble Peach Muffins. So have on hand milk, vanilla, Cox's honey, unsalted butter, Greek yogurt, eggs, 2 eggs, 3 peaches, cinnamon, allspice, salt, baking powder and baking soda, flour, brown sugar, and then for our strudel topping, icing, we're gonna have the heavy whipping cream and also some powdered sugar. Most of these things you need to have at room temperature, like the butter and the eggs, the milk, everything it calls to be room temperature. So we'll start with that. First thing you're going to do is you're going to cream butter, unsalted butter, so a whole cube, and then half a cup of brown sugar. Now what the Honey Queen didn't check was that the brown sugar is hard as a rock, and I need it right now. So here's some quick methods. Just like you do with the honey, you put it in the microwave for 10 seconds. That's it, and it softens it up. Another way, if you're gonna do it long term, I did get all my daughters one of these cubes. Well, I don't know what you call them, ricotta, clay something. You soak it in water and then you put it in there and that softens it. Or you can do an apple slice or a piece of bread, either one of those. So let's cream this on the blender, not the blender, the mixer. All right, so I've creamed the brown sugar and the butter. And I'm gonna add what I call my liquid ingredients. So I have half a cup of yogurt here, and you wanna scrape down the sides as you're doing this so you make sure everything's going to mix in. And then it calls for 1/8 cup of honey. So I wanna use it in the container I just did the liquid in. See, my dry ingredients are on that side, that's coming next. So 1/8, I just do about half of the 4th. And I'm not an exact person, but I'm pretty close. Baking, you have to be a little closer than cooking. But you can still fudge a little bit. And then I'm going to add my eggs, the room temperature eggs. And before I add my dry ingredients, I am going to mix this for 1 minute. Two teaspoons of vanilla. And this is straight from Mexico. To the blender. What do I keep saying that? Mixer. It's very important while you're mixing this that you scrape down the sides. Now I'm going to do my dry ingredients. So it calls for 1 3/4 cup to 2 of flour. I like to err on the moist side, just because I like it. But then because you're using honey, you also need a little bit more to make it stick. So that's kind of a tricky thing. So between 1 3/4 and 2. Then you're going to add 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1 tablespoon of baking soda. So easy to remember. Half a teaspoon of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of salt, and actually 1/8 teaspoon of allspice because it's pretty strong. We skipped the 4th one. I whisk that, and then I'm going to add it to my wet ingredients. Mix it, and at the last minute I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of milk. At low speed, you're going to add the dry ingredients. And at the very end, I'll add 2 tablespoons of milk. Oh, whoops. When the kids are away, Grandma display. Be sure to keep scraping down the sides. Show you what it looks like. I'm going to peel and dice the peaches next and then fold them in using this. Before I do that though, I am going to turn my oven to 425 to preheat, and I will spray my muffin. These are the greatest things, these silicone. I'm going to fold in my peaches. I'm going to put a scoop in using this cupcake scooper. Then I've made a crumble top to go on top. It's 2/3 cup of flour, 1/3 cup of brown sugar, and a teaspoon cinnamon, and then melted 1/4 cup of butter. And you just cut it in there so that it kind of crumbles on top of it. I'll bake it for 5 minutes, and then I will turn the heat down to 350, and I'll bake it for another 15 to 20 minutes until it's brown. That's it. The icing comes next. On a little high, I've crumbled the butter into that mixture, and then I'm just going to spoon a little bit on top of each one. And you kind of press it down so it kind of sticks and goes in. That's what makes the honey crumble, because I'm actually going to top just a dot on each one. Oven it goes. Try these muffins, you won't be disappointed. Share this with other people, subscribe to here, and then grandchildren. Did you find the bee? It's there. It's a beautiful necklace, isn't it? Heart the bee. Have a sweet day. So the glaze and frosting is really a frosting on top of the cake type thing. I just took 1 cup of powdered sugar, 3 tablespoons of the heavy whipping cream, and half a teaspoon of vanilla. I'm going to spoon it into the bag, snip off a little bit, and then I'll strudel it over the top of them. And there we have the finished product. You could store these for 3 to 5 days in a Tupperware covered plastic, or in your refrigerator in a Ziploc, or even freeze them. If you do it in the fridge, you can store them up to 2 weeks. If you do it in the freezer, up to 3 months. Nice little fall festival. So, a little tip I had forgotten is when you put fruit, make sure you roll the fruit in a little bit of flour so it doesn't all sink to the bottom. Still good, but it would have been better.